Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're zeroing in on some specific research to really bring you the knowledge you need. Our mission is to explore these fascinating factors that contribute to, well, healthy aging and longevity.
Right.
And we're drawing specifically from studies in Frontiers in Physiology from 2016, the Lancet Healthy Longevity from 2023, and also PubMed from 2021.
Some really solid sources there.
Exactly. You're here because, you want to understand what really matters for living a long, healthy life, but without getting totally bogged down.
Yeah, cutting through the noise.
So let's just get straight into it.
Okay. Well, what's immediately striking, looking across these studies, is this recurring emphasis on seemingly basic functional movements.
Basic movements.
Yeah, things that turn out to be surprisingly powerful indicators of how well we're actually aging. Take, for example, just the simple act of getting up from the floor without any help.
Okay, getting off the floor, that sounds almost too basic. Let's unpack this. Why is this such a critical marker, according to the research?
It sounds basic, yes, but it actually requires a pretty highly coordinated effort. That Frontiers in Physiology study you mentioned, the 2016 one,
Yeah.
it really highlighted how this demands a significant range of motion, in your hips, your knees, a solid sense of balance, good coordination between muscle groups, and actually quite a bit of strength.
Strength where?
Core, legs, and those often overlooked stabilizing muscles. And what's really insightful is that the speed people could do this.
The speed, really?
Yeah, the speed at which they could get up was an even stronger predictor of mortality risk than just if they could do it.
Wow. Okay, the speed, too, that adds a whole other layer. So it's not just about, avoiding a fall. It's about the body's resilience, how efficiently it recovers.
Precisely. And the research suggests that losing this ability, well, it has really serious implications, doesn't it?
Like what?
Well, the inability to get up independently after a fall, it hugely increases the chance of being immobile for a long time.
Right. Stuck on the floor.
Exactly. And that can lead to this whole cascade of negative things. The studies touch upon pressure sores, dehydration, increased strain on organs. So maintaining this ability isn't just about independence. It's a really significant indicator of your overall physiological resilience.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about just maintaining that baseline physical capability. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Another everyday thing, carrying groceries. What do the studies say about that? Why is that relevant?
Carrying a bag of groceries without, really struggling. That's a fantastic real-world test of what we call functional strength.
Functional strength, meaning?
Basically, the strength you need to manage daily life on your own. The PubMed research from 2021, for instance, looked closely at grip strength.
Grip strength from holding a bag.
Yeah. That simple action engages your grip, obviously, but also power in your upper body, lower body, and your core stability. It all works together.
Okay. And if someone finds carrying groceries getting harder, what might that indicate based on this research?
It could be an early sign of sarcopenia.
Sarcopenia. That's the muscle loss thing.
Exactly. The natural age-related loss of muscle mass.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, it could start pretty early, like in our 30s or 40s.
Wow.
But more significantly, those PubMed studies consistently show a really strong link between declining grip strength and a higher risk of, a bunch of bad stuff.
Like?
Cardiovascular problems, cognitive decline, even increased mortality risk overall. Some research suggests that for every, say, measured drop in grip strength after a certain age, there's a statistically significant jump in the risk for these conditions.
That's powerful. A connection people probably wouldn't make.
Not immediately, no.
It just highlights how these everyday things aren't just chores, they're like little health checks.
Absolutely. Valuable indicators.
Okay, let's think about another one. Climbing a flight of stairs. What's the significance there according to the studies?
Being able to go up a flight of stairs without feeling completely wiped out, that's a really clear marker.
Ooh.
Both cardiovascular endurance, your heart and lungs, and muscular endurance, particularly in your legs.
Right. And if you find yourself getting really breathless or your legs feel like lead halfway up.
It can signal a decline in those crucial areas, yeah.
Yeah.
Your heart health, your leg strength.
And the research, like in the Lancet Healthy Longevity, really emphasizes why keeping those up is so important, right?
Absolutely. The studies consistently show that good cardiovascular fitness is strongly linked to a lower risk of tons of chronic diseases and just a longer, healthier life overall. Plus, the leg strength you need for stairs, your quads, hamstrings, glutes.
Yeah.
That's vital for general mobility and, again, preventing falls like we talked about with getting off the floor.
It seems connected.
It is. And if you start avoiding stairs because it's hard,
Yeah.
well, that can unfortunately lead you down a path of being more sedentary.
Which just makes things worse.
Exactly. Becomes a bit of a downward spiral. Less movement, further decline.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, something may be less strenuous, but you mentioned it's telling, standing on one leg. Why is that important? What do the studies say?
Standing on one leg is surprisingly complex. It's a really good indicator of what you might call physical intelligence.
Physical intelligence.
Yeah, it reflects the intricate coordination of your nervous system, how efficient your muscle memory is, the stability in your joints, and that constant chatter between your brain and body that keeps you balanced.
So it's way more than just not tipping over for 10 seconds.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maintaining balance relies heavily on proprioception.
Proprioception.
That's your body's sense of its own position in space. It also involves your reflexes, engaging your core muscles, and the strength and responsiveness of all those tiny muscles in your ankles and feet.
Got it.
And we know poor balance is a huge risk factor for falls,
Right.
which are a major cause of injury, especially as people get older.
Definitely.
So being able to stand comfortably on one leg shows that all these systems are working pretty well together. And usually that's a result of just staying consistently active, even in small ways.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like a combination of lots of different systems firing correctly. Okay, let's shift focus just a bit. An activity that uses body and mind. Cooking your own meals, say after 60, how does that fit into healthy aging?
Cooking your own meals at that stage, it's a really significant act of independence, of self-care, but it also has these notable cognitive benefits.
Cognitive, how so?
Well, think about the mental steps involved. You're planning meals, making decisions about ingredients, maybe you're recalling recipes, following steps.
Right, planning, memory.
Exactly. Those activities help keep your cognitive skills sharp. It's like exercise for the brain.
And I guess there's a physical side too.
There is, yeah. Cooking engages fine motor skills, chopping, stirring, that kind of thing. Plus, you get sensory stimulation from smells, tastes, textures. And crucially, you have control over your nutrition.
Which is huge for health as we age.
Absolutely. And, for people living alone, the simple routine of cooking can provide a sense of purpose, maybe even combat feelings of isolation. It's a ritual of self-respect.
It's definitely more holistic than it first appears.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together, from getting off the floor to cooking. What's the big picture message from the research about staying independent as we get older?
I think the core message, consistently backed up by the findings in Frontiers, Lancet, PubMed, all of them. It's that actively engaging with our physical well-being is just paramount. It's crucial for thriving in our later years and holding on to our independence. And it doesn't necessarily mean, running marathons.
Right.
Consistent engagement in these basic functional movements and everyday activities, that makes a profound difference.
So these seemingly simple things, getting up, carrying bags, stairs, balance, cooking, they really act as barometers, don't they? Gauges of our overall health and our ability to live independently.
Precisely. They aren't just mundane tasks. They're key indicators of our physical and cognitive vitality. And that's an insight consistently reinforced by the kind of rigorous research we see in these studies. This has been really, really insightful, a great deep dive into the research. For you listening, we really hope you'll reflect on these points. Think about your own abilities in these fundamental movements and daily tasks.
Yeah.
And we'd genuinely love for you to leave a comment or maybe ask questions about any specific health issues you're curious about. We're always learning here together.
Definitely. And maybe this brings us to a final thought, a takeaway for you. Consider which one of these fundamental abilities we talked about resonates most with you right now. And then think, what's one small actionable step you could take, maybe even today, to cultivate that ability for a stronger, more independent future?